Hello, warm welcome to Eye on Africa. I'm Rochelle Ferguson-Biahi with the main headlines on the continent. Leaders from 3 African nations meet their EU counterparts here in Paris to discuss getting Europe's worst migrant crisis under control. Kenya cracks down on plastic carrier bags. As of today, manufacturing, selling or even carrying plastic bags could see you slapped with a hefty fine or face jail time. And with the Muslim feast al-Adha fast approaching, Senegal turns to its neighbours to help with a shortage of sheep and lambs to sacrifice. We begin here in Paris, where leaders from Europe's big 4 continental powers and 3 African nations have been meeting this Monday for a mini-summit aimed at tackling the EU's migrant crisis. Well, Chad's Idriss Déby, Niger's Mahamadou Issoufou and Libya's Fayez al-Sarraj attended the talks, which were hosted by President Emmanuel Macron. All 3 African nations are major transit routes for the thousands of migrants risking their lives to reach Europe on a daily basis. Well, earlier, France 24 spoke to Niger's President Mahamadou Issoufou about the root causes of migration.
As
you know, the root causes of migration are poverty, insecurity, climate change, demographic pressure. We've agreed on a statement that says we must reinforce operational capacities, not only in countries of origin, but also in transit countries, such as Niger. And beyond security, we also have to look at development, economic and social development, in order to target the root problems, to target the roots of poverty.
Well, many African migrants crisscross the continent to reach the Libyan coast, this before attempting the crossing to Europe. Thousands pass through Agadez in northern Niger, the last settlement before the Sahara Desert. Niger says it's reduced the flow of migrants through its key transit point by at least 80%. Clément Bonnereau has this report.
More than 125,000 migrants have crossed the Mediterranean this year, according to the UN. The majority arrive in Italy through the so-called Central Mediterranean route, travelling via Nigeria, Mali, Niger, Chad and Sudan, and ending up in Libya. Most of the migrants are West Africans, with Nigeria, Guinea and Ivory Coast the top countries of origin. In 2015, the EU pledged €1.8 billion for programmes to help African countries stem the flow of migrants. Plans include beefing up border surveillance in transit countries, as well as schemes to create jobs in countries of origin. These measures have yielded results. In July, the number crossing to Italy dropped by 57% compared with June. Niger, meanwhile, says it reduced the flow of migrants travelling through Agadez, a key transit point for human smuggling, by as much as 80%. African countries, however, say they now need more money. Niger and Chad say they've set up hotspots to process migrants, but observers say they're not sufficiently developed and do not conform with international standards. Another key issue for African countries has been to secure their borders in a highly volatile region. The Sahel is 5 times the size of France and home to several terrorist groups linked to al-Qaeda or the Islamic State group. Libya, meanwhile, has been in the grip of a bloody civil war since the fall of General Muammar Gaddafi in 2011 and has been unable to fight traffickers and criminal networks operating on its territory.
In other news, Kenya's Supreme Court has begun hearing an opposition petition challenging the results of presidential elections on August the 8th. Well, judges now have until September the 1st to rule in the case in which opposition leader Raila Odinga alleges that computer hacking and fraud handed incumbent President Uhuru Kenyatta victory. Well, earlier today, the court said lawyers for Odinga's National Super Alliance coalition could access the Electoral Commission's computer servers. Staying in Kenya, a ban on plastic carrier bags is being called one of the toughest in the world. As of today, those caught producing, selling or even carrying plastic bags could be hit with up to $38,000 in fines or face up to 4 years behind bars. Well, Kenya's government says the move will protect the environment. Manufacturers warn that thousands of jobs will be lost. Ellen Gainsford reports.
The streets of Nairobi are covered with them. Hundreds of plastic bags litter the city. They've become such a problem, the government has banned their use. They block drains, drift into the ocean, destroying marine life, and even turn up in the stomachs of animals. An issue for this abattoir.
So I would say these are growing concerns, it's a growing problem. This is something we didn't get like 10 years ago, but now it is almost on a daily basis.
The ban came into practice this Monday. People who ignore it risk up to 4 years in prison and a fine of up to 32,000 euros. Neither plastic-wrapped goods or users of plastic bin liners will fall foul of the law.
Now we are also ingesting these microplastics, and this is a danger to our health. So this is the reason why we decided to start a phase-out of banning the plastic bags, starting with the carrier polythene bags.
The ban was carried through after the High Court threw out a challenge brought by importers, who claim jobs will be lost and livelihoods threatened. Around 40 other countries have banned plastic bags. But Kenya's new law is particularly tough. Supermarket chains plan to provide reusable, eco-friendly bags at a small price.
4 people appeared in a South African court today, charged with the possession of human body parts. One of the suspects is believed to be a traditional healer who's accused of making his clients eat human flesh. Well, police say the group were arrested in the farming town of Escourt in KwaZulu-Natal province after one of them entered a police station and announced he was tired of eating human flesh. He then allegedly produced part of a human leg and a hand. Authorities in Niger say torrential rains in the capital, Niamey, over the weekend have left several people injured, destroyed over 200 homes, making hundreds of people homeless. Well, 20 kilometres outside of the capital, officials estimate that 80% of the Gabagura district was damaged in the floods. Last week, torrential rains left 7 people dead and displaced 20,000 others in the regions of Maradi and Zinda. Now, with a few days to go until Muslims mark Eid al-Adha, also known as the sacrifice feast, Senegal is facing a shortage of sheep and lambs. Well, to ensure the supply of 700,000 animals, Dakar has signed an agreement with its neighbours, Mauritania and Mali, a move set to facilitate border control procedures. Our correspondent, Sheikh Mohammed Horma, sent us this report.
It's already a long journey from eastern Mauritania to the capital, Nouakchott. Yet these sheep traders continue on to Senegal, seeking a greater profit ahead of Eid al-Adha, the feast of sacrifice. Large rams like these are especially popular with Senegalese Muslims and sell for up to 3,000 euros in the markets of Dakar.
We take our animals to Senegal. People come to have a look at them. The biggest ones sell quickly and at a very good price.
Due to a shortage of sacrificial animals this year, the Senegalese government has had to ask its neighbours, Mauritania and Mali, for help. An agreement was signed to allow tens of thousands of sheep to cross the border into Senegal.
The aim is to facilitate border control procedures, reduce tariffs, and set up supply points along the way.
I think that today, efforts are being made on both sides to provide the Senegalese market with sacrificial animals.
Observers say this agreement could help improve relations between Nouakchott and Dakar. They've been deteriorating since Mauritania implemented new regulations restricting the access of Senegalese fishermen to Mauritanian waters.
There is a clear and direct link between trade relations and political relations. Of course, this principle also applies to Senegal and Mauritania.
The Senegalese government must find at least 700,000 sheep and rams by August 31st, the beginning of the Feast of Sacrifice. They're counting on Mauritanian and Malian livestock to achieve this.
Well, that's it from me. Your Eye on Africa team is back at the same time tomorrow. Up next here on France 24, more international headlines. Do stay tuned.